I'm going to take the cover off, pop that off. I'm going to take the air cleaner box off. Use a Torx 10 here, the E10. There's two bolts, and then we're gonna disconnect this air temperature sensor, and then we're gonna undo the clamp for the air cleaner box. Just gonna put it up from here, cut right off.
There you go.
Now we're gonna disconnect connectors around the intake manifold. We're gonna disconnect whatever's attached to it. There's a couple of hoses, a couple of connectors, and the vacuum for the booster, which is there. So here we go. Here's one here. Here's the connector right there. There's another one here. There you go. And then disconnect this crankcase ventilation line. It'll just wiggle right off. Just let it sit there for now. And a couple of lines here. That there. Connector here. This line right here. There we go. And then there's another connector back here. So now we're gonna unbolt the intake manifold. We still got this to do, and there's a vacuum line back here, but it's easier to lift the intake manifold, move it out a little bit, and then do it. So we're gonna take this cover off. It's only 2 screws. These are dummies right here. It's only 2 screws for that cover. So you got 2 screws there, you got 2 screws back here. 10. A little magnet on the screwdriver to kind of get them out. So now use your magnet again and just kind of get those out. So now we got them out, we'll be able to lift the intake manifold a little bit. You can see there's still one connector here for the throttle valve right there. So you're gonna have to undo the lock, which is right there, and then just push it out. There we go. And this one here, this is the booster line. It's easier to get now. You squeeze these 2 tabs together and pull these 2 tabs right here. I'm gonna bring it forward, and you're gonna see the vacuum line that I'm talking about, which is right there. So we're gonna use this tool, just a little trim tool, to kind of push the hose up. There we go. You're gonna be careful not to pry too much on that, because if you break that nipple, you're gonna end up buying that whole vacuum pump. Although you could get the nipple aftermarket by its own. Now you can take the intake out, so you can see. So you gotta cover up the intake plenum here, just in case you don't want to drop anything in there. And here's your sensors, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get most of them without taking the intake except one. So
Just this one.
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and take this out. Hang on. This one we're probably gonna have to loosen the ME. So you're gonna have to pop this out so you can get to that screw right there for that one. So just pop the ME out of his mounts, the engine control unit. It pops really easy. Just pull up on it. Gives you enough room to get that sensor out. And now you take your 30 and break it loose. Pull it out. There you go. And that's your cam position sensor. And basically what happened, oil gets, and in fact is when it's got oil already, oil gets passed through that sensor and into the harness. So you want to get these done. Otherwise, you're going to have to do your engine harness once it gets to the computer over here.
So maybe switch this or change them every what? 50?
I say maybe 50,000 miles.
Every 50,000 miles.
Just a little insurance. So that we clean the oil out of it. It's impossible to get it out of the harness, but it won't travel anymore. So you just connect it back and put that in there. Get your screw back on.
And so because of these sensors, what you have to take the manifold out.
Yeah. Otherwise,
you can try to prate it out, but you're gonna end up probably breaking stuff. There we go.
We're good. So
now we just pop the
ME back in there. It's just a question of getting it on the guide and let's pop it back down. See? Easy. So now we're gonna go ahead and just replace the other ones. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. They're all the same. Just there we go. This one's dry compared to the other one. So the other one was starting to leak down. Same thing here. Locking. And just put the screw back in. And then same for the other side. Fairly easy. Here's one. We took that off. I'm gonna do both at the same time. A little quicker.
So if you take this to the dealer, what are we looking at?
Well, this is
Parts, labors, and everything.
You're probably looking at $1,500 or something like that. So here's these. This one also had oil. Wipe that off. So two of these sensors had oil. Screw back in.
The sensor will probably run you between $150 to $300.
And that's that. A little insurance. Not plays the wiring harness. A lot cheaper. So now we put everything back together.
Same way we took it out.
Yeah, the only thing is that the seals on the intake manifold, I like to put them here first. It's a lot easier. Helps you line up the seat the intake when you go back in. I'll show you. So I'm gonna take them out of here. And I'm gonna put them over here. There's a little notch that lines up the little notch there. I don't know if you can see that. So the notch right here.
That's the little notch right there.
Yeah.
You could also change those seals since you're doing this at the same time.
These are fairly new, so we're not gonna replace them, but we're gonna go ahead and I just reuse the old ones. Okay. And we're gonna sit it here like before we put it all the way in, so we can connect that vacuum line at the back. It's gonna hurt to grip, but
So we had to pull this vacuum out in order
to access. Yeah, it's in there. So I'm just gonna reconnect that there. So don't forget to get your throttle valve connector in there. Lock it, and then there's a little holder bracket for it right there. Just push it in, and of course you your vacuum line there for the booster. And now you can let it sit, and you'll feel it when it settles down. When it settles in, you can feel a pretty solid feel that it's sat right. If it was off, you'd feel it wiggly or something like that. But it's in there. Just make sure that none of these cables, these connectors, get stuck underneath, because I've seen that before. Make sure all your lines and connectors are accessible. Everything's here. We got our connector in. So we're gonna tie it down now and put the bolts back. Those you can just drop in there. And kind of second. Trick here, because you really can't see the little hole there. Just gotta do it by feel. You just drop it in there with the magnet, and then get it started by hand. Same deal. Just a little magnetic screwdriver. You know, you'll feel it go into the little hole. Run it in by hand. Make sure it's good. Then you can go in and tighten it. You gotta cut it cross tighten so the intake goes on even. So we'll just double check all of them one more time. Then remember our dummy cover here, with the dummy screws there. Yeah. So 2 screws. and we'll work our way around the intake manifold, connecting everything. So here's the first connector here that we took out. So just go ahead and push it in with a screwdriver, and then push the lock in. Here's the second one here, and then of course we had our crankcase line. And then we'll go over here. We had our this line here, goes right here, with the connector over. So connects there, and then this one right here, connector there. And we have one more connector here, and that's it. We are ready for the air cleaner box. So we're gonna take that. Of course, this will, you can see the brackets that these sit on. There we go. Get the boot in there, clip it on there, because we have the sensor here. And we got our 2 screws for the air cleaner housing, the air cleaner box.
They're all E10, these 2 screws.
This is the clamp. Gotta clamp this back to lock it. No way. Normally it goes in pretty easy. This one looks like it's been cramped a few times before. That's it.
All done. Okay.
If you want to check there's oil contamination at the engine control unit, just disconnect it. You would see oil here and on the pins. That's a good indication that one of these components was leaking. So we cut this one in time, so we're good. We're good. There's no oil. It's all dry. So I'm just gonna connect it back, and that's it.